We have seen or heard from various platforms some interesting and actually good practices at Japanese public schools or Japanese schools in general. So I'm sure you've seen videos or pictures of students in Japan cleaning their own classrooms, taking off their shoes before going inside their classrooms, or serving school lunches to their classmates. But there is more you need to know about these practices and some others that the world needs to know and learn a thing or two from. So today I'm gonna share 6 amazing practices or amazing features of Japanese schools. First up is the Uabaki or indoor shoes. In other schools, students, teachers, school staff, and guests are required to take off their shoes before even entering their school buildings. So I've personally had experienced this kind of practice when I had the chance to go and visit some schools in Tokyo and in Saitama a few years ago. However, so far in the schools that I went to here in Kobe, there are only specific rooms or buildings where you need to take off your shoes before entering, or sometimes you are required to wear indoor shoes or indoor slippers in these rooms. Well, actually, not really required because most of the time we are asked to take off our shoes and get inside with our socks on or with the designated slippers that are provided for guests. So not shoes, but indoor slippers. Except in the gym, of course, where students are required to have their PE shoes or their gym shoes. Other special rooms include the library, what else? Meeting room, Japanese room, and other function rooms or special rooms wherein the floor is carpeted or the floor is the tatami mat or the Japanese traditional floor mat. That's tatami. Well, don't think of so much reason for this because I guess it's simply, I mean, it's just the same reason as why you take off your shoes before going inside your house or when you come home from work or from school. So you have your own designated space for your shoes or your outdoor shoes or your slippers, diba? And then when you get inside, you just go with your room shoes or room slippers rather, or sometimes most of the time it's barefoot for the reason that you don't want to bring in the dirt or the grime that you collected from outside, right? Which leads to the next best practice or the next amazing practice at Japanese schools. Number 2 is Soji or cleaning time. 4 times a week, the students at the elementary school and junior high school in my school placements are given 10 to 15 minutes to clean their classroom, to clean the corridor, and to clean the school in general. Not only that they're cleaning their own classrooms and the corridors in front of their classrooms, but also stairs, school grounds, some other facilities like library or clinic, and even toilets. At the elementary school, the HOSO or the broadcast system, which can be heard all over the school campus and even outside of the school, signals when it's already Soji Jikan or cleaning time. And throughout the cleaning period, the official soundtrack of one of the best animes ever, the anime movie Spirited Away, is being played. Before the pandemic, I used to join several classes during Soji time or during cleaning time, and I personally witnessed how the kids do it. Of course, we don't expect that the way the elementary school students clean their classrooms is as efficient as those in the junior high school or as adults do. So most of the time, you'd see elementary school kids just swinging their brooms back and forth without actually looking or without actually checking if all the dirt is collected or when they're wiping the glass windows or doors or tables, I mean desks, that instead of cleaning them, they're they're actually just putting more dirt on them. But what's more important is, training and discipline. Quoting Proverbs 22, verse 6, train up the child the way you should go, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. So that's Soji time or cleaning time. Number three, kids or students serve their school lunches. I've shared a lot about how varied and how nutritious, how healthy school lunches are in Japan, especially in the elementary school. I even made a video of it, so you can check it out. So, in addition to what I've already shared, did you know that in my city, in Kobe City, all public elementary schools and junior high schools have the same monthly menus for school lunches?
Wow.
So, I mean, all elementary schools, they are given a list of food to be served for school lunches, the same way as all junior high schools. It is, however, the choice of the school or a specific school if they want to follow as is the list that is given to them, or they can actually shuffle, or they can change the order of serving these school lunches. And then there's a canteen manager or nutritionist who checks and of course balances and monitors the serving of the school lunches.
Wow.
And to further add to the wow factor of school lunches in Japan, did you know that for every class there is a specific group of students or specific group of kids who are assigned to serve lunch for a certain week or for a certain month.
Wow.
So every week or every month there is a certain or a particular group of students or kids who's in charge of taking all the school lunches from the school canteen or from the school kitchen and then serving them to their classmates and then bringing back the used utensils to the school kitchen, and they do the tasks in complete sanitary outfit. Like they have their how you call this, their cap, their hair cap, their special kyoshoku masks, and then their aprons, and they also have their towels, specific towels for kishoku. I'd also like to add that as early as elementary school, the kids are taught with some Japanese table manners. So, for example, eating posture like that, and then how the order of eating the food served, and placement of the food on the tray and utensils also, among others. Number four, greetings before and after each class. In a previous video, I also shared how the Japanese schools or how Japanese students greet before the start of every class and when the class ends. The expressions yoroshiku onegai shimasu, which roughly translates to please do us a favor, or please be good to us, or we are respectfully in your care. And then after the class, they say arigatou gozaimashita, which means they thank the teacher for the time, for the effort in teaching them. Both these expressions or all these expressions are uttered or are said while students and teachers are standing and then bowing. So these expressions or these practices, just greeting before and after the classes or after each subject, clearly shows that as early as elementary school, students in Japan are taught with the value of respect. And it's one of the important things that they are taught in Japanese schools. Number five, homeroom periods or sessions. So every morning, all classes, all students are given 20 minutes. That's in elementary school. 20 minutes for their homeroom period. And then 15 minutes, I think, for junior high school. So this is when the homeroom teacher or the class advisor gives announcements or reminders, their schedule for the day. And sometimes this is also a time for the students to finish their homework. So depending on the strategies of the homeroom teacher, it could also be the time for a sort of bonding or enhancement sessions or homeroom guidance. Then after lunch, there's also another 15 minutes allotted for enhancement sessions or for homeroom. In elementary, they usually have this period as a session for reading or enhancement session for a certain subject. but most of the time it's about reading, wherein students or wherein the homeroom teacher brings several books for the students to choose from, and then they, as in literally, drop everything and then they grab a book, one of those books, and read them. So again, in junior high school, the class monitor or the leader for the day goes to their subject teachers for the following day and ask them about anything that they'll be needing for the next day's class. Say, for example, they need to bring their textbooks, their workbooks, or art materials, or something like that. And then the monitor, the class monitor, class leader, writes these notes on a specific board that's allotted or that's assigned for class schedules and tasks or reminders. Then after the sixth period, there's again a 10-minute homeroom time wherein the homeroom teacher gives reminders and announcements regarding the next day's class or the next day's sessions. And number 6, moral education. Dotoku, or moral education, is one of the subjects that students in Japan need to learn or need to study from grade 1 to grade 10. From first grade to 10th grade. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's still included in the senior high school curriculum, but yeah, it's one of the core subjects, one of the basic subjects that all students have to study. So when I say core subjects or basic subjects, it's one of the most focused parts or subjects of the Japanese school curriculum. And what's the focused lesson or the focused value for Dotoku or moral education? Being an asset to the society, even at a young age, hard work, having a strong sense of fairness, and mindfulness of others. It's like others before self. Which explains why majority of the Japanese people are really nice. I'm sure you've heard so much about it. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it. I personally could attest how helpful, how nice they are, especially to foreigners. Foreigners who are tourists or foreigners who are living and working in Japan. Of course, with exemption to those who are really rude ones. But fortunately, they are in a small percentage or small number compared to the really good or really nice Japanese people. Good thing. So there you have it. Some amazing, some unique, and some good features of the Japanese schools or the Japanese school system. So if you notice, all these I mentioned have one thing in common. That is harmony or living together, working together for a common good. That's the concept of wa, or the wa in reiwa. That's the kanji or the character for reiwa. Harmony, which is the same concept manifested in all aspects of the Japanese society, including schools, of course. So if you've watched this video from the start to this point, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your support, and I hope you also watch my other videos about Japanese schools or Japanese school system, Japanese educational system, and Japanese culture in general. So, see you again next time.